No comment.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further comments from council?
George Radisson.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, I think that there's some good points raised on both sides here, but you know, there's a couple of analogies that I see. One is gasoline. You know, we see it go up, and you can say it because of hurricane whatever, and it shut down the plants in Louisiana, or it's because they're gearing up for the fuel in California or whatever, the additives. It goes up, but it never quite goes down as much as it went up. And I think we have an opportunity to make something go down that went up. And I don't think it is going to impair the quality of our roads. I'd like Mr. Tanner to clarify for me, are we responsible for the maintenance of Canyon Crest and Sun City roads?
We are not. In Sun City, there are private roads within that subdivision. The planned unit subdivision is a responsibility of the HOA. There are also roads that are public roads. Falcon Ridge Parkway, Sidewinder, Flat Top, those are public roads. We evaluate those roads and we rate them every year. When you get your budget, when you look at your budget for the fiscal year 13-14, you'll see the estimated ratings of the roads that we're estimating needs to be reconstructed in 2014. And then you'll also, there's another line item that'll show the following year. Now, those two following years, you can add the estimated budgets up and determine where we're at for 2 to 3 years out. Now, there has been times in the past, and as you look at the spreadsheet, we've, in 13 years, we've spent over $11 million. So we're averaging a little over $1 million a year on road reconstructions. Those road reconstruction jobs come at periods of time that we feel is the best value for that dollar. In 2006 and 7, I didn't do any roads. And some of them got a little bit worse than we wanted them to, but I couldn't afford to build roads at 3 times the cost of what it was because of the construction industry, so we held off. And that's what this fund allows us to do. It allows us to back off some of our roads and allows us to go out and get roads, so we get that unit cost down when we do our roads. We also try to evaluate them when we crack seal, we rate them, and then we put them in the budget for the repairs the following year, whether that's reconstruction or not. And we can go through that a little bit more fine detail in this year's budget as we go through that.
Could you address Canyon Crest? You mentioned Canyon Crest.
Canyon Crest is a public road. Canyon Crest, Oasis Boulevard, those are public roads.
Just those roads.
Those roads are not built out to full standards by any means. So as those properties develop, they'd be built out to full standards. And then the developer is responsible for a lot of that. You know, when we started evaluating this, one of the things that we received that wasn't in our budget was $117,000 from RTC. They had another $117,000 maintenance money that they forwarded to us to add into our budget this year. My estimated cost this year for road reconstruction jobs was $2 million. I estimated we spent $2,218,000 and we ended up saving $180,000 off that bid. So we cut down on what we anticipated we would spend this year by $180,000. We received $117,000. We're still evaluating some of the roads. I believe that the reduction in right-of-way fee is not going to impact us drastically, but at next year when we sit down and evaluate this, I could be coming to you with a different story. My recommendation is going to be what needs to happen to provide our streets in the same quality that they're in now for the future. And it may become a time where council wants to determine that we want to degrade our quality of our streets, because I got to tell you, when we tear up our streets, our Utah contractors say we're tearing up better streets than they have just laid down. So it could be a matter of maybe we need to let our streets go just a little longer. But those are things we'll evaluate in the next 3 to 5 years with this fund. RTC, you know, they're looking at more maintenance money, less capital project money. There's a couple of bills of legislation right now for maintenance money through Clark County. So there's a lot of things that can happen this year that could flip this completely around to where we would maybe have money from different agencies. If not, next year I'm going to be telling you that money was not there. So we can't depend on that. We need to depend on the right-of-way.
I think that's a fair enough and a very clear explanation. I think the bottom line is that, you know, we were outraged that OPD raised the rates and gave their boss a big fat raise. You know, that's, here we have an opportunity to do something that helps us compete for business. It helps the citizens. We don't need it this year. You just heard it. We've got the money in a fund. It's ready to go. We revisit next year. We don't know what's going to happen in this legislature. We don't know what's going to happen to C-Tax. What passed is not good. I agree with that. But there's trailer bills that have a high potential for passing. Uncertain, but a high potential that could get us back to where we were. So with all these uncertainties, with the uncertainties with respect to the RTC and NDOT and everybody else, I think this is an opportunity to do something for the average ratepayer and say point blank, we're business and resident friendly. We're not just collecting fees for the, oops, maybe we're going to need them next year, or maybe we're going to need them in 3 years. If we need them, take them. If you don't need them, don't take it. And that's where I stand on this.
I just have one more follow-up. In case some don't understand, this right-of-way fee is a percent of gross. OPD went up 4.5%. That 3% right-of-way fee clicked the same amount. If the other utilities do it, it just clicks. And so, I mean, that's what this is all about. This is a fee. It's not an OPD fee. This is a city fee. And as George stated, you know, we'll take a look at this thing. But that's the intent. Let's go for a year. We'll reevaluate it. There's a lot of uncertainties, both for the positive and for the negative. So all we're saying is we can reevaluate it. The roads are going to be fine. Staff's on board. They've had time to evaluate it, and I think it's a good thing for the community.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further comments from council?
None.
Seeing no further comments, I will seek a motion, please.
I move that we adopt Bill number 471 as ordinance number 471. All staff recommendations.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Two hands. Just raise your hand. We're supposed to raise our hands.
I'm sorry, Wayne, could you repeat that for me, please?
We're having them raise hands to determine the vote here.
Yeah. But I need to know the outcome, if you would, please.
You better ask who.
Hey, we need to ask whether the yeses.
Yes, show hands, if all in favor, raise hands.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then the nays.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We need to have
Those opposed.
raise their hand.
Those opposed, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
That motion passes.
Thank you, Wayne.
3 yeas, 1 nay.
Okay, that motion passes, thank you.